Welcome back to the Artefactors Union. I am your host and foreman, Douglas Scoundrels, and today we are assembling more alts. Specifically, we have an alt Daeva, Miss Anne Thrope, female executioner, also known as Kelly, the Stabbit Rabbit, alt Alphonse, and Misconduct. So let's go ahead and start with Misconduct. We'll just do this in reverse of what I just said. Well, all these tubes are probably going to be a pain in the ass, but we'll get through them. So as far as order of assembly goes, I'm going to grab the body first and then add the chest onto it. And let's just go ahead and do the rest of the head, but not the hair. I'll save that for later. Then we'll add the two pieces of the backpack, then each of the arms, and then these tubes connect to the backpack, the arms, and the fists. So we'll do them after all those are in. Then we'll wrap up with the oxygen tubes, I think, because they connect to the mask on the front of her face. These need to go on before the hair, which we'll do last. Okay? So let's go ahead and grab H7, and then we'll add H3. Okay, here's H3 and, H7 and H3, effectively her boobs, neck, and face. Gonna go right there. Went in just fine and easy. Now let's grab H2, which is the rest of the head and neck, which will go right here. Do that next. Okay, that's what it looks like. It's just gonna be hanging out there slightly awkwardly because we don't have the backpack or the arms on. But the face looks real good. So we're going to actually change up order already, and that's because I think the backpack might slightly get in the way. So we're going to add the tubes, pipes, whatever, for the rebreather that attaches to her face. So you can kind of see the connection point, if I get close, right here is where the main thing will sit. This is H1. This is bit H1. The main body of it will sit right there, and it will connect to these right there on the mask on that side, and right there on the mask on that side. So let me show you what that looks like. Okay, this bit was a pretty big pain to get in there correctly, but I got it. You see where it's supposed to be seated on the back of the neck, and then it's connected to both sides of the mask where I said they would be. Now, this bit was really difficult, and I'm really hoping it is the hardest one on the model. It's a small bit and hard to maintain and get it on there without losing it or breaking it. It's connected to the sprue on right here, and it's you really need a sharp knife to clean it up, otherwise you are going to snap off one of the pipes, tubes. God, I never know what to do. Anyways, so what I end up doing is dry fitting quite a bit, put it in where it's supposed to go, and then see that, oh, they're not quite lining up. They should line up to their spots on the mask. And if they aren't, it's because I accidentally bent them out of place, so I bent them back a little bit more, dry fit, made sure that it actually fit correctly, and then I glued the whole thing on. So some TLC, be very, very cautious with clipping it out, cleaning it, and fitting it into place, but you can do it, and if you lose it, not the end of the world. It's probably the most insignificant bit on the model. Of course it is. Alright, let's move on to the backpack. We'll grab H6, which will go on her left side. That is H9. I was reading it upside down. Whoops. This guy, and then this guy. Yeah, definitely glad I did the tubes first. So that's what it looks like from the back, but from the front is probably more important to make sure you don't have any glaring gaps, which we really don't, because the shoulder is going to get that bit up at the top. Okay, now H8 is our other part of the backpack. Okay, yeah, I'm really glad that we did the tubes first, because that would be nearly impossible to put them in there. But it lines up with the strap on her front, so we can go ahead and start on our arms. Our right arm is going to be H4, and then H5 will be our left. Okay, goes in just fine. There is just the tiniest of notches in the shoulder that slots that were... The backpack is what it attaches to, so that will help you with your orientation. But okay, let's do, I believe, H5 now, our left arm. There it is, both arms. Now let me figure out the tubes and I'll get back to you. Alright, welcome back to Anatomy of Tubes 101. H11 is going to be the tube that goes on our right side. It's really hard to see. And H10 is going to be the tube that goes on the left side. Now, there are 3 connection points. One right here, which will connect to the backpack. This will connect to the upper arm. And then this will connect to the metal glove thing she's wearing. And then same with this one. Backpack connects here, upper arm here, and then the punching glove metal device thing. The connection point on the backpacks are actually back here, so H11 will start right in that groove, and then it'll come around. It will connect to the upper arm right in this groove, and then I believe connect in this hole for the last bit. It took quite a bit of fiddling, but I think my method ended up working out pretty well. It's kind of hard to get it to stick all together, and then I decided I would make sure that it would stick well enough here, so I let it cure ever so slightly. And then I connected this point, and it was close enough then here that I could just push it in, which would actually nudge the other one slightly out of place. So I ended up letting those both cure for ever so slightly. And then I would use my tweezers to sort of pinch the upper arm, which would push this into place. And at that point, everything else kind of stayed where it was supposed to. So now it looks good. So we'll go ahead and do our other tube, H10, which connection point here, and then upper arm, and then yeah, there. Okay, the method did pretty good. It's in the slot it's supposed to be. Possibly could be nudged ever so slightly better in the spot. But anyways, then I connected it to the gauntlet. And at that point, the upper arm piece was close, and I just squeezed them together with the tweezers. And it came out pretty good. We are almost done. Gotta just do H6, the hair and the back of the head. Finally! Orientation is real weird, and I don't think it's going to matter a whole ton, but you can kind of see the connection point is fairly identifiable with the hair. I'm just going to put it in that way. My depth perception doesn't really work on camera very well, but there we go. Yeah, like that. That's good enough for me. Baser. Misconduct is done. She was difficult. The tubes for the rebreather were hard, and it would have been nearly impossible to get them on there if I didn't do them before the backpack. And then the tubes on each arm, also pretty hard. But once you know where they're supposed to go, it just takes a little bit of fiddling and some love, and you'll get it. I think she's still easier than the original Arik, too. It's been a while since I built him, but looks good. We'll move on now. Just 5 bits. This is unfair. Okay, we're going to combine the 2 halves of the vast majority of his body. And then we'll do the right foot, the left foot, and then the head. All right? Back half, let's front half. Now let's do the right foot. It's on easy. Now the left foot, left leg. Also pretty easy to connect. Let's finish with the head. Hurrah. He's done. Put him on a base. Alt Alphonse LeBlanc is done. There was no hard parts. Well, no, I take it back. The right foot accidentally fell off because I didn't put enough plastic cement on it. So there, I do have a hardest part. Not really hard, though. It looks, honestly, a lot better than the original one did. At least he's more fitting to his card. Okay, let's move on. Okay, for our Usagi Yojimbo, we got our own tactical rock. Heck yes. We'll do that last. Grab the 2 halves of the body. Yep. And then we'll do, I believe this is the armor that goes on the right thigh. This is the armor that goes on the left thigh, perhaps? Anyways, this is going to go right here on him, and this is going to go right about there. I know that much. After that, we will do the left arm, the right shoulder armor, and then the head, and then we'll put him on the rock. Here's G8 plus G9. Now let's add G6 right along here. Okay, fits in just fine. So now let's do G7, which goes, well, effectively in his crotch. Oh, still good. Things are going smoothly so far. Now let's grab G3, which is our left arm. This one had a weird time getting to sit in correctly, but didn't take me too long to figure it out, so I'm not going to really say it's a hard thing to do. Anyways, let's work on G5, the right arm now. Alright, that's the angle you're looking for. Connection's pretty nice. Now we get to do G4, the armor on that shoulder. And our connection points are really this flat part of the arm that you see, as well as this edge on the arm as well. Corresponding to this big flat piece of connection inside the armor, and then right along the side as well. Easy peasy once again. Alright, last few bits. G1 the head, and then G2 the rock. Here's the head at the angle you should put it at. Seems to look good. And our tactical rock is going to be affixed to his right foot. There we go, he's just launching off of that rock. Put him on a base. The Stab It Rabbit is done. Yeah, he looks really good. Looks really good. Hardest part was the sort of lone armor bit on his right arm. But despite the detail, he was really easy to put together. So I'm happy with him. Okay, let's now move on to our fourth bit. Alright, Alt Executioner. We'll grab the body and then put on both the legs first. Then we'll do the chest. The extra little stabbies that go on her hands, followed by the backpack, and then finish with the head. Alright, so grab this bit. Then we'll jam the, well, it looks like the right leg on, followed by the left leg. All right, that was a good guess. So, got our body, plus our right leg. Reminder, dry fitting will tell you which leg is which if you get it mixed up. And the left leg, back you for both. Now, let's do the chest. Spend a nickel for every time I attached a woman's boobs to her body in this video. I'd have 2 nickels. Right, the scissory bits now. So as far as what goes where, we're looking at the outside. We're looking at the bit as it would be if we are facing the model. The connection points on the back side of these. You can see and confirm that. Connection points. So I'm going to flip this over so it'll be angled the same way we normally do it. And as far as what goes where, this sort of bulge notch thing is going to be facing on the outside of the body. It's not going to be pointed towards the body. So this will be on her right hand and this will be on her left hand. Okay, here's the right stabby finger thing. It is going to be split off from the other one. They're not like right up against each other. But if you look at her seam, it looks good. So let's add the left finger now. And there it is. Yet again, it's pretty far split from the other finger, which adds a nice 3D element to this model. I like that very much. Let's look at her back. And I'm going to dry fit real quick. Okay, the backpack, which is effectively just 2 canisters and a bunch of different tubes, is going to attach right here. You can see these 2 spots where like the these pokey things on the backpack. That's where they glue. And then the double tube runs to right inside the sort of wrist right here. You can see the connection points, and the singular tube will connect right here as well. And there we go. Pretty easy, actually. This makes the model look a lot better than the render did. The render didn't excite me a whole bunch, but yeah, I'm liking this now. So all we got left is the head. And ahead we have. She's all done. Put her on a base. Alt Executioner, also known as Kelly, is done. Hardest parts were the backpack. Yeah, fitting the tubes in there, I guess. Not terribly easy. Also, getting the bladed finger things on there without knowing that they're supposed to be spread open like that could be kind of hard. But that's the problem I had, and you're probably going to be good since you now know what it looks like. Okay, let's move on. Miss Thrope is a fairly unique model in that it actually has a lot of bit options for how you build her. Weird hasn't done this for a while. She's one of the first Miss models, and that was back when they were occasionally doing alternative bits. They don't do them as much anymore. I don't really have an opinion on the matter either way. But we'll go over what is required regardless, and then we can talk a little bit about options, and then I'll pick one. Actually, I know exactly what I'm going to do. Okay, so we're required to have a body. Big surprise there, as well as the left leg. And then the gun goes on the hip, regardless. And finally, we require this bit, which he does not show anything on that side, but here we can tell it is actually her neck with the goggles around it, if you see the artwork. So then we've got to pick a head. We have one with hair that doesn't require any additional changes. This one includes longer hair, which is over here, which is on the side of her head. And then this one, if you wish to give her a bowler. As far as arm choices, let's look at the sprue the right way again. We have two options for our left arm. It's either the bat or the hand holding the hat. And then as far as oh, this is left arm as well. So these three. And then for our right hand, it can either be down by her side or the one holding the other bat. So if you really want to be dual wielding bats, you can in this case. So let's go ahead and pop that body and then do the leg. Okay, our body. Now just add the left leg. She has it stepping forward ever so slightly. Just make sure your skirt pleats line up. Now, our pistol is going to fit right there in that connection point. Now, she's got a gun. Hooray. Let's do our neck, and then we'll be done with all the required parts. Yeah, that's not going to sit solidly in there. Just put it in a spot that makes you feel comfortable. Looks good on their seams. I'm happy with it there. Okay, so next up, just pick whatever right arm you want. Okay, now pick whatever left arm you want. All right, cool. Now, normally I would tell you to put the head on first and then the top of the head, whether it's hair or the hat, or if you're going with the nothing, if you're going with the third option, but I'll show you how to assemble both options just so I can, and then I'll attach my head of choice. Okay, we've got the head that's got the flat top because the hat is going to go up there. Now, as far as the hat orientation, though, really hard to tell, and it's really hard to show you, too. But if we look at the left side of the top of her head, there is just a tiny ridge that's at a slightly different angle than the rest of the top of the head. That's almost completely flat. And that corresponds with the interior of the bowler hat. See if I can throw it on the floor. Somewhere on the bowler hat, there is this ridge right here on the connection point. So this will be on the left side of her head. Still going to slide around quite a bit. I think it's supposed to be at the slight angle. I have it here. So that's how I'm going to leave it. Now let's move on to the ponytail head. Okay, ponytail head's got this big chunk taken out of the side of her skull. That corresponds with the extra hair and ponytail bit. A little harder to mess up, so I'm just going to glue it on here. There we go. Looks fine. Now add your head of choice to the body. Oh, legendary double bowler hat, folks. Alright, get her on a base. Oh, also, the head is supposed to be at the angle that you see on the artwork, so that's what you should try and match when you put it on the neck. Okay, base her. This and Thrope is done, and not center camera. There we go. Goodness. Hardest part was trying to assemble the head without putting it on the body first. That's really it. The neck was a little wonky to get on there in a way that you would consider to be correct, but as long as you put the neck and then the bottom part of the head and then do the top part of the head once that's all cured, you'll be just fine. Okay, let's do our last one. Well, Daeva looks to be relatively simple. Hooray, let's finish this off with something nice and simple. I just hold it so you can read them. But then the letters are... bleh. We'll do the letters. Okay. I'm going to grab our body, and then we're going to do this magical effect slash left leg, and then the tail, followed by the wings, and then we'll do left arm, right arm. And now that's it. That's really it. So grab E2 first, and then add E6. E to the body. Now add E6, the left leg. Okay, there it is. Just check your seams. Looks fine. Now let's do the tail. And that's going to be curling down so far that it might be touching the ground. I don't know. We'll see. Forgot to mention that that is E4, the tail. And yeah, it gets down there pretty well. It's almost touching. I mean, it might, depending on how you put it in. As far as the connection point is concerned, there is like a tooth that is an up and down sort of bar shape. And then once you get it in there, what you really want to do is make sure that the gap on this side is as closed as possible. And I believe that's the best angle to get it the way it is here, which matches the render pretty well. So let's do E1 at the wings now. The left wing effectively connects to her hair too, so keep that in mind. Now we will do the arms and call her good. Our left arm is E3. Actually, kind of a hard time wedging that in there. But I got it. And so E5 is our last bit, the right arm. Easier than the left one. We're all done. Get her on a base. Alt Daeva is done. Only 6 bits? Goodness, I'll take that. Hardest part is the tail. Tail's just not going to sit in there perfectly. And honestly, I'd probably glue it to the base once you're done, just to make sure it stays in there, because I can see that thing popping off. But the rest of it was real easy, so let's look at what we've built today. Our 6 alts for the day are done. We have Misconduct, which is an alt Arik Schottemer, an alt Alphonse LeBlanc, which is an alt of Alphonse LeBlanc, a Stab It Rabbit, which is an alt of the Lone Swordsman, an alt Executioner, also known as Kelly, which is a female Executioner, Miss Anne Thrope, which is an alt of the Wastrel, and an alt Daeva, which is a Neverbornish looking version of a Daeva. Alright. Hardest parts. Tubes? Tubes. Tubes are the hardest part, although the tail on the Daeva was also pretty difficult. Yeah, that's where the difficulties. You know what were the easy ones. So yeah, a lot of that difficulty is broken up into Misconduct and a bit of the alt Executioner, but Misconduct takes the prize for the hardest one. Nice we started with her, I guess. Anyways, I've been your foreman, Douglas Scoundrels, helping you build a better Malifaux. Enjoy your minis. Bye.